up, guys? It's Danielle coming to you live from Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson. I know it's been a while since you guys have seen me on the channel, but today we are doing a Sportster review. So of course we had to have the girl do it, right? Just kidding. All right, right in front of me here, we have a Nightster Special, and over here we have the regular Nightster. I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about the difference between both of these models and the difference on the Iron 883, the traditional air-cooled Sportster that we all know and we all love. All right, so starting with the Nightster Special, they're actually both gonna have the same frame and the same motor. We have a Revolution Max 975cc motor. It's also gonna be a liquid-cooled motor, which is new. The old motors were all gonna be air-cooled motors. In combination with the bike being 100 pounds lighter than the old Iron 883, you got twice as much horsepower. How did we get the bike to be lighter? The motor is a stress member. Aside from that, we have a super cool 2-in-1 exhaust on this bike as well. Starting at the front end of the bike, on the Nightster, you have a solid wheel, a single disc brake, finished off with Brembos. That is definitely an upgrade from the Irons before. They did have single discs, but now we got Brembos. And then to the rear, also have a Brembo. Finished off with Showa suspension in the rear. You're gonna have a little bit more travel than you're used to on the old Iron 883, as well as a Showa front suspension as well. Aside from that, you might think this is a gas tank. It's not. On the new Sportsters, they put the gas tank inside of the seat underneath here, kind of like you remember on the V-Rods. Inside of here is gonna be the intake. Have a cafe style mirror setup on this. And then over on the Nightster Special, very similar as the regular Nightster, but it's gonna have a passenger pillion here as well as foot pegs, so you can go ahead and put your girl or your best friend on the back, or your dude, you know, hey, however you wanna do it. And then in the front we have a cowl as well on top of the headlamp. Now, one of the biggest features, in my opinion, that's going to be different on both of the bikes is going to be our infotainment system. Our digital gauge here versus a regular gauge on the regular Nightster. In combination with this is going to have cruise control on it. The regular Nightster does not have that feature. And 3 different ride modes. You have street, you have rain, and you have sport mode. This one has 2 additional customizable modes as well. The bike is Bluetooth capable, so you can pair your phone to it if you're interested in using the screen here for navigation, whereas the standard Nightster does not have that option. The tack looks a little bit different. It's going to be a standard tack versus a digital tack. as you guys know, I started off as Dyna D on a twin cam 110, moved to Bagger Mommy on a Milwaukee 8114. I've personally never owned a Sportster, and this is the first time I've really put one through the ringer. And let me tell you about this rev-max motor. It is 975 cc's of okay. So when I rode this bike, it handled outstanding. Not only does the motor rev a little bit higher than I'm used to, it performs at those higher RPMs as well. You're gonna redline at like little over 9,000, whereas on my Dyna 51, it was like shift. As well as the suspension. On your Dynas, you know, you spend a lot of time and money trying to figure out what to do the back, what to do the front, steering stabilizer, what can I do? This thing on the freeway in 6th gear, because you get 6 gears on this bad boy now, this is a very underappreciated bike. Based off of the bikes that I've ridden, track days, things like that, from out of the box, from the factory, this bike is dope. You get great suspension in the front as well as the rear. You get a killer motor, performs super well, and I can't tell you how much that 6th gear is rad on the freeway. I would highly encourage you, if you haven't already test ridden either the special or the regular Nightster, to jump on one of them. And hey, there's even a Sportster S if you're feeling like a little bit more with that 1250 cc. So I talked about how much I love this bike. Now let me tell you about a couple things that I'm a little iffy on. So it does come standard with mid controls. My Dyna had mid controls as well. Maybe it's just because I had a mini floorboard on them that I really appreciated that, but I felt like they were a little bit back. I kind of wanted to have my feet a little bit more forward. Mind you, I do also ride a Road King currently, so I'm kind of used to floorboards. Aside from that, the 2-in-1 exhaust is hot. It's hot. I touched my leg on it and I was like, ooh, that's hot. So that was a little bit different for me. Aside from that, I really do appreciate the entirety of the bike itself. The seat was not a super uncomfortable stock seat. It did its thing, didn't make me feel like I was gonna fly off the back. The handlebars were super comfortable, kept me at a nice riding position the whole time. And I noticed a little bit of support from this on the freeway. Not a ton like a typical T-Sport, but hey, it's Harley-Davidson, brother. You can always change it to whatever you want.